AM. Saturday.
But we're on mute there. We're on mute there, so. All right, let's see here. Notice is hereby given that a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas will be held on Thursday, February 13th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. at City Hall, 22870 Priest Road, Sandy Oaks, Texas. Where a quorum of the City Council will be present, all agenda items are subject to action. Can you give me the sign-in sheet? You can join the meeting at the link provided in the Zoom meeting. The public will be permitted to offer public comments in person, telephonically, or by audio as provided by the agenda and as permitted by the presiding officer during the meeting by signing up with the city secretary at least 15 minutes in advance of the meeting if providing comments in person, and at least 2 hours in advance of the meeting by emailing the city secretary or by calling 210-607-0834 if speaking telephonically or by audio. An audio recording of the meeting will be made and will be available to the public in accordance with the Texas Public Information Act upon written request. It is now 6:31. We are in session. Present today, Mayor Pro Tem Alvarado.
Here.
Alderman Tremblay.
Here.
Alderman Rapino.
Here.
Alderwoman Madero.
Here.
Alderman Fillinger.
Here.
Our city secretary is not present, but our city attorney is present. Please stand. We have a quorum. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, citizens to be heard. Persons wishing to speak may sign up with the city secretary in the time and manner as addressed as above. The time is provided for citizens to address the city council on issues and concerns related to the city of Sandy Oaks. Please note that the Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the city council from responding, commenting, or discussing items or topics during this portion of the meeting that are not included on the agenda. The city council appreciates hearing from the citizens, and your thoughts and questions are valued. However, civility and a sense of decorum will be strictly followed. All speakers must address their comments to the city council. Speakers shall refrain from public criticism of members of the city council that are prohibited by law. This item will be open for up to 30 minutes with 3 minutes to each speaker. One person may speak on behalf of a group. Up to 3 people may register on behalf of the group or the spokesperson to be allotted up to 9 minutes to speak. If there are more than 10 speakers, each will be given 2 minutes or 6 minutes for a group spokesperson. So at this time, we have Ms. Wanda Harvey. Is that correct? Ms. Harvey, you do have the floor.
Okay, I came up to talk to you on the advice of Chief of Police. I had gotten a thing in the mail. I still think they wrote the wrong thing, but it was about code violation, weeds, and tall grass. And like I informed you earlier when I was speaking to you, I fell out somewhere and shattered my shoulder. And it's still not totally healed. In fact, I'm facing a surgery in April. So it's very hard for me to get out there. I found a lot of these people that I've tried to hire, which I can't really afford the expensive ones, but I would say, well, we'll do it for this much or help you out a little bit. Off of neighborhood, they don't show up. They're not reliable. So as I spoke to him, I'm going to go out there and try and see if my 5-year-old battery operated weed eater will work and start trying to do some stuff on it while I'm still trying to find somebody else to help out. My son would normally come in, he lives out of town. He would normally come in and do it, but his wife just had surgery to remove a kidney from cancer and he's starting chemo, so he's out of the picture totally on me, so I've got to try and find a way to get around this and do this myself. The only other thing I have is an old, rusty hedge thing, and if need be, I'll go out and do it with that. I was known one time, I did a a yard with grass clippers. Took me a while, but I was much younger then. So this is what I came to see. I am going to go out and work with him and try and get this done. And I would appreciate if you could hold off on any citations. Like he said, he would check with, fines, he would check to see that, I'm out there doing something. Which I won't be able to start till after the weekend. I've got to gather some string and more materials. But I do intend to go out there, cold or not, and do as much as I can on a day. So this is why I came to speak to you. To let you know I'm in a situation that is very hard to get this done with. I mean, I have weeds and then I have grass that was low. I started my lawnmower, it died. I thought maybe, I could walk behind it because it's one of those mostly self-starters. Well, I had gas in it when I fell last summer. So it's not working. It has to go to the repair shop. So I can't even go walk behind it because it will not start. That's just what I wanted to let you know.
Okay.
It's not because I don't want to get it done, it's because right now it's a very physical hardship on me.
Sure. Ms. Harvey, please grab a couple of business cards, that way we can connect with you afterwards.
Okay, they would be.
They're just on the wall. on
Okay,
that
I'll do
side.
that on my way.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next person that we have is Mr. Lamar McNeil. You have the floor, sir.
Honorable Mayor and City Council members, Chief Boers, hello again. Lamar McNeil, fellow resident of Sandy Oaks, residing at 23326 Cockatanga Drive. I previously addressed the council to request you revisit the October 24th and now the January 23rd discussions on action on code enforcement for residential lots and make an official agenda item for the next meeting. On January 20th, I submitted a code violation form to City Hall regarding the property at 23322 Copper Canyon Drive. Property is filled with increasing amounts of junk visible from the road in my property, despite my tall fence. Items include junked car, RV trailer, demolition rubbish, an unregistered 18-wheeler trailer, a dilapidated outbuilding without a roof, mattresses, and other unsightly materials. After the last meeting, Chief Flores advised that his team successfully found a potential property owner living in San Antonio and sent them a citation. I appreciate Sandy Oaks PD for sending the San Antonio resident citation. However, the situation is worse than not improved. Since then, on 4 separate occasions, including yesterday evening, 4 different vehicles have visited the property, unlocked the gate, and dumped additional materials. These include another trailer full of junk, construction site material, and an old air conditioner unit. This issue extends beyond the lot next door. I observe it throughout our city. Many properties display junk, including mattresses, old TVs, kitchen appliances, junk cars, and other rubbish in plain sight of our roads. Please note that our city is the last line of defense for its residents regarding code enforcement. Bexar County Code Enforcement responded to my former complaint that I submitted to them on January 20th, saying they have no jurisdiction as we live in Sandy Oaks, and it is the responsibility of our city for code enforcement. In closing, I respectfully request City Council please document and schedule code enforcement for residential lots, a formal agenda item for the next City Council meeting to assist with this ongoing issue. Thank you for your valuable time and assistance in this matter.
Thank you, Mr. McNeil. Okay. Updates and announcements. Only real announcement that I have that's kind of not listed here is, and I posted it on our social media. We're going to be having a cycling group right through town, March 8th. Not by request of me or by my permission or our permission, but they scheduled time to come down our roads. They're going to be, the biggest group is going to come all the way down Priest from 1604, and the smaller of the group, which is a part of their 65-mile ride, is going to just touch onto Mathis behind the fire department and then cut across. So we're going to see the majority of the traffic on Priest Road. So if you reside on Priest Road, certainly take all efforts to make sure your animals are secure so there are no incidents, whether by securing your fence or securing them by a runner. I do ask that if you are traveling on Priest Road on March 8th, it'll probably start around 10 o'clock is what they're predicting and run through about 12 p.m., which is more or less the slowest rider is going to pass through. At least that's their assumption. There's only about 65 signed up for the 40 mile, which will take them down Priest, and 60 registered for the 65 mile, which will take them off of Mathis. They're expecting a 10% loss, meaning that 10% will not show up and make the ride. They just come get the shirt. Which I thought that was funny that she expected that. But nonetheless, so please secure your animals. We don't want a bite incident. We definitely don't want any traffic incidents. I'm working with our police department to make sure we have some sort of traffic control. However, the lady did say not to expect a peloton of people, her phrase, not mine, but to expect maybe a group of 5 to 10 at most, passing through at one single occasion. So it shouldn't be where they overtake the road, which is, in my opinion, the most dangerous because Priest Road is relatively narrow with no immediate shoulder if they have a breakdown. So that is
March 8th during the week?
Saturday, sorry.
Saturday,
Yeah.
okay.
As far as an announcements, that's pretty much all I got for today. All right. Moving on to the consent agenda, all matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
There's a typo, it doesn't have to be addressed separately.
We can.
When I make a motion that we approve item D, as A and B were not provided until we arrived, and item C has a typo I'd like to mention.
So you just need more time to review item A and B, or do you want to postpone it?
I want to postpone it until next meeting because she wrote paragraphs under each item and I'm not gonna have time to read that today.
Okay, so right now the motion is to approve item D.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so right now the motion is to only approve item D. First by Alderwoman Madero and a second by Alderman Rapino. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right, did you want to discuss C?
Item C, yes, sir. If you look in paragraph 7, L is labeled as K and paragraph K is missing. So it starts executive session for deliberation should be K. And then the one that's labeled K should be L, the minor typo, but.
Say that for me one more time.
K should be L,
Mhm.
and where it starts executive session to deliberate the hiring of a patrol officer should be labeled K.
Oh, I see.
So I make a motion to add a K in front of executive session and change the K to an L, sir.
Got you. Okay, I got a motion by Alderwoman Madero to add K to executive session and change discuss under possible action to item L. May I have a second? A second by Mayor Pro Tem Alvarado. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Right.
I make a motion to approve those minutes as amended, sir. Second.
It's amended. All right, I got a motion to approve the minutes for item C as amended by Alderwoman Madero and a second by Alderwoman or Mayor Pro Tem Alvarado. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, so we will postpone items A and B until the next meeting, and items C and D are now approved. All right, moving right along, the financial report. The income and expenses for January 2025 will be reported by the City Secretary, Delma Doyle, with possible discussion and interaction. You can see our city secretary is not present today, so I will do my best to read these off. The beginning balance started off as $551,353.13. We had checks and payments of $110,909. We had deposits and other credits of $110,909.56. We had deposits and other credits as $203,953.39, which leaves a statement ending balance of $644,396.96. As of 1/31, there are uncleared transactions of $2,130.58, which leaves a registered balance of $646,739.56. There are cleared transactions after 1/31 of $212.02. Uncleared transactions after 1/31 of $1,377 even. And the register balance as of 2/12/2025 is $645,150.54. ARPA accounts, beginning balance is $76,980.39. There were no transactions, no checks and payments, no deposits or credits. The ending balance is $76,980.39. And then lastly, the TDA grant account, the beginning balance is $15,544.20. There are no checks and payments. There are no deposits and other credits. The ending balance is $15,544.20. We'll be very limited on answers if you have questions, but we can certainly document about what we can do.
I would like to know what all these deposits are on page 2, sir, that had nothing written next to them.
Yep, and so she did tell me about those. Those are likely my best opinion because I didn't confirm. But she said they are court payments.
Okay, so she's saying that.
She's saying, but I didn't go back and
Right,
research.
but that's fine, just so somebody knows what they are.
Yep,
But every one of these are court payments.
correct.
All right, thank you, sir.
Question on, excuse me, on payment on 124, I guess there's 6 says, engineering,
Mhm.
find that in.
First page.
It's an expense on 114 for 3,000. Is that the same one that we just approved on the?
That's a date of service, 12/19, or date of payment, is that what's listed, 12/19?
12/19.
The one we just had in the.
You think it's any good? Yes, I believe that is. Yeah.
So it's the same one?
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Or I move to approve the expense report as submitted.
Okay, got a motion by Alderman Tremblay and a second by Alderman Fillinger to approve the income and expense report for January 2025. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Right. Right along.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
you're gonna have to excuse me if I'm next, I covered by Larry County, Texas.
Okay. It is now 6:50. Alderman Fillinger is stepping away. Okay, moving to agenda item 7, updates and announcements from Public Works Director Priscilla Schmidt with possible discussion and or action. She is not able to make it today, but she did have a few announcements that did say electrical work on ACO Metal Building began today. The bridge connecting to the golf course is being repaired and painted. There's a large pothole on Loman and Shady Forest, and that has been completed.
Golf course.
So behind the community center, there was
Oh, the
a
mini golf.
mini golf, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not the
We
40,
had a golf
not the
course.
40-acre golf course. Yeah,
They just started on the 50th.
that wasn't on your deed restriction. So no other updates and announcements from her. Any questions on those?
No.
Okay. All right. Updates and announcements from ACO Cunningham with possible discussion and or action. Chief, do you have her notes? And if not, I do. I just gotta find them.
I've got them right here.
Well, she gave me kind of a script, but you can read it however you want to.
So, animal control wise, and I've never read these off of her, so excuse me if I don't get everything just right, but, this is for the total number of new animals taken animal control facility for the month of December. 11 animals in custody as of 1/9 is 5. Dogs transferred to shelters, returned to owners or adopted for the month of December was 10. And dogs euthanized for the month of December was 1. She had 24 warnings issued, 7 citations, 4 referrals, 6 total impounds. Impound and citations, 1. Unable to locate owners, 2. Injured or dead animal pickup, 1. Number of violations observed, 2. Pending cases, 2. And resolved PTC total, 10. Total calls and reports are 46. And they break down as 4 for cruelty and neglect, 9 for enforcement, and 0 bite scratch call.
This was a December.
That's for December, yes, sir. And you have one here for January.
I did find her script if you want me to read it out.
Sure.
It says for the month of January, we had 23 warnings, we had 8 citations, 3 referrals, 1 impound, 2 impound with citation. We had 5 unable to locate, no dead animals. We had 1 no violation observed. We have 0 pending cases. We had 6 resolved prior to contact, 49 total calls for service. Total number of animals for January, new animals taken in is 27. Animals in custody as of 2/7/2025 is 21. Animals in custody as of today, we have 13 plus 2 in foster. Dogs transferred to shelter, returned to owners or adopted is 14, and we had 0 dogs euthanized. This was for January.
I believe the majority of those were puppies.
Yep.
Mhm.
A lot of puppies. Which it is puppy season, so
I know.
hopefully it doesn't keep the trend up.
Relating to animal control, I'm gonna ask a silly question. And I'm sure Cassandra would chime in. Is there anything you can do about people trying to give away animals on social media?
I think if it's within the city limits, there's a part of the ordinance.
On the roadside, that's
no.
something about social media.
It if they're going.
They can't be
outside
asking
the
for a
city to do
rehome.
it. Yeah, if they're going outside the city to do that, then that may be outside our jurisdiction.
I see. it
No, social media.
Excuse me, on Nextdoor,
Mhm.
there all the time, trying to rehome, case in point, there was one that had 8 puppies and whatever, and 8 found a home, I got 1 left, so, yeah, but those, of
Well,
those 8, how many are gonna end up back here?
But can we give a citation for them having a dog that's not fit? They're giving away puppies in the town.
Uh, I'm sure there'd have to be some type of investigation to find an address, because basically you have, someone, who's just posting on the internet. I'm
Yeah.
just
Be careful with
wondering
that.
what,
I
if,
think it's
is
only
there
required after
anything that
4 months.
prevents a city from enforcing, giving away or surely if they're giving away puppies or selling them and they're living within the city, we do have a spay neuter program.
The mother is definitely not fit.
So the
Is what
mother's
they're
not
saying.
fixed.
It's
So
not
Oh, that's okay.
what, is there anything we can do? I mean, it seems like they're
I don't wanna
repeat
rain-
offenders. I'm sure they just keep having litters and litters and they just keep.
Yeah. I don't want to rain on the parade, but shouldn't we discuss this when we get to the ordinance?
Well, it's just a question because
Sure.
it was related to animal control, the report. So I know she's not
Puppies,
here,
yeah.
but
Well, the puppies could be, they could have just found them on their property like I did.
I did see a post about a tub with puppies running around it as if someone had just dumped them. So that could have been the puppies that she apprehended as well.
Mhm. So it would take a thorough understanding of how it came about, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before we assessed any penalty.
Fair.
I think it may be difficult to determine someone's
Yeah, no.
intent of what, how the puppies came about and if they're trying to give them away or sell them. But it could be difficult to enforce,
But either way, the mother's not fit.
and that could be.
That
they could be
results in a
cited for that.
citation,
That's the
period.
one.
There's nothing questionable there. If that mother is nursing those babies,
Yeah.
then she's not fit.
That's definitely
Hit the
a
mom,
violation of
not the kids.
ordinance,
Everything else
He's
is
talking
up
about
to.
giving
Yeah,
away
but
puppies, that's a
okay.
different.
It's
Yeah.
trouble going
Okay, we can move on.
too, like
Mhm.
I found.
All right, no further discussion, then let's move on to agenda item 9A. Updates and announcements from Chief Waters with possible discussion or action. Sir, you have the floor.
As far as updates and announcements, like I say, we are now fully staffed with four full-time patrol officers, 1 investigator and myself. I have one of the officers here, the 2 new hires, Mr. Fred Pettis here, you can stand up, Fred, say hi. So Fred's a retired U.S. Army military police officer. He has a master peace officer license as well. He's one of the new hires. The other new hire was unable to make it. He had a father-daughter dance this evening, so he was not able to make it, but this is Officer Pettis here. And thank you, Fred. And I'd also like to say we are now 100% caught up on all case reports. When I came here, there was a ton of backlog reports. We are 100% caught up. Our evidence room is 100% accounted for. We recovered 100% of all runaways that we've had the last 2 months. And this Tuesday coming up, we have our CJIS federal audit, which I'm pretty confident we'll do well on. So that's new business. That's all I have.
Any questions? All right, moving on to agenda item 9B. Sir, you have the floor for the presentation of your monthly report.
Monthly reports. I'll just read them off. Fire alarms, SOPD, that's us, 1, Bear County, none. Residential alarms, Bear County answered 4, we answered none. Assaults, we answered 1, Bear County 0. Assist EMS calls, we had 1, Bear County 2. Assist fire, we had 5, Bear County 1. Assist the public, we had 1, Bear County 2. City ordinance violations, we had 29. Civil matters, Bear County had 2. Civil matter, keep the peace. The first one was civil matter concerning custody. Civil matter, keep the peace. We had 1, Bear County had 1. Civil matter concerning property, Bear County had 2. Non-injury crashes, Bear County answered 1. Criminal mischief, Bear County 1. Damaged property, we had 3, Bear County 0. Family disturbances, we answered 3, Bear County 4. Noise disturbances, we answered 1, Bear County 8. Verbal disturbances, we answered 3, Bear County 2. Shots heard disturbances, we answered 2, Bear County 7. Found property, Bear County 1. Fires, Bear County answered a total of 5. That would be the fire department. Harassment, we had one call for harassment. Bear County also had 1. Information reports, we had 8. Bear County had 8. Injured sick adults, we had 2. Bear County had 1. Officer initiated activity, we had 2. Bear County had 1. Patrol by request, we had 1. Bear County had 10. Runaways, we had 5. Sexual assaults of a child, Bear County did 1. Suspicious activity, we had 1. Bear County had 6. Suspicious vehicle, we had 1. Bear County had 6. Thefts, we had 4. Bear County had 1. UUMV, stolen vehicles, Bear County had answered 1 of those. Welfare checks, we answered 4. Bear County 6. 911 hangups, we had 6. Bear County 13. Total calls for service, we had 86. Bear County 98. Traffic stops, between the 2 officers, there was 106 traffic stops from SO for San Diego PD. Bear County did 1, and Lieutenant Alvarez closed 8 cases. So what I'd like to say on that is, for only the second time since I've been here, there was under 200 calls for service. One time since I got here, we had 199. This time, it was much lower. In December, I'd also like to say in December, Sandy Oaks took 55 calls for service. Bear County took 164 for a total of 219 calls. January, we took 86 calls. Bear County took 98 calls for a total of 184 calls. I'd like to say it's because we have more people on patrol that now we're getting less calls for service. The cold weather could have had a lot to do with it too, so we'll find out in this next coming months, right? In December, I'd like to also point out that in December, we had 74 traffic stops, and Bear County initiated 2. January, we had 106. Bear County initiated 1. When it comes to city ordinance violations, we had 28 in December and 29 to 1. 29 in January. So that was a small increase, yet it still was an increase. I went through, I don't know if you remember when I started, I had the 6-month, 2-year, 4-year plan. We have completed all of these 6-month plan. This marks my 6 months here, and we did complete the 6-month plan that I accounted for or was hoping to account for. And I'm looking forward to having 24-hour coverage, because I know, like, he's called me, and 4 times that he's called me, we hadn't had anybody to be able to respond, because it was either on a day they weren't here, or it was at a time that they had already gotten off of work, right? So we found who owns the property, sent them a citation. Well, we sent them a warning. They didn't comply. We sent them a citation, and they're still not complying, but we need to find these people. The times that he's called, there's not been anybody here. So I'm looking forward to 24-hour coverage. As you can see, every month, in August, we answered 16 calls for service. Now we answered 86. With the more people we're getting on patrol, we're answering more calls for service, and it's flip-flopping, right? So Bear County's answering a lot less. We're answering our own calls now. So it's coming together, and I'm happy to see the guys guys and women, since we have a female, are being more proactive as far as going out there and being self-initiated.
Hey, Chief, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
It's great that you responded to the call, and it's great that you've issued a citation. We need to talk about abatement,
Right.
of the issue. Is your department going to initiate that, or do we as council need to initiate that? Do you need a volunteer to step up and send out the certified letter? And
in the past, because I was just talking to a person that did do an abatement for, it was the previous mayor and the attorney that got together to do the abatement letters. So I think there was a checklist that we looked, that I saw, Cassandra, where, well, yeah, because you, remember I was asking for.
Actually, we've done two, sir.
Okay,
The property that we placed the lien on, the attorney and I did that.
oh, yeah, we'll see, there you go.
So we've gone through this twice.
Right.
It's quite an involved process. But my question is, do we as council need to address this? Or, because it's no longer law enforcement, but we need to make he's been warned, he's been cited.
Inside he's been warned, and I believe.
And he
the abatements were civil.
continues to do this.
Correct.
Doesn't he need an opportunity to come to court?
Um,
Well, it depends if it's a citation, then it would be court. If it's like an abatement procedure because it's weeds or because it's a substandard building, then he comes before council. And if he does not abate within the time limit given, then he comes.
Yeah,
Here's a
they're not-
public hearing before council.
they're not mutually exclusive, Mr. Barrett. If you read the ordinance, every single day is a separate
Offense,
Violation.
violation. Thank you very much. But if after the warning and you gave him 10-day notice,
Well, yes, and he didn't comply, so we've issued a citation.
okay. But what I'm hearing is, as of yesterday, they're still dumping trash there. And quite honestly, what depends on what they're dumping out there. They're dumping construction equipment or debris. I'll be real honest, it's cheaper to buy a 4/10 of an acre lot here and use it for a dump than it is to pay dump fees at the county dump.
Right.
So, I believe that, well, again, my question is, will you proceed with that, or does that need to go through council?
So I'd have to look into it, or maybe Cassandra would know the answer to it, but I believe that the abatement is a civil matter, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that cannot come through us, right? As law enforcement officers, we don't enforce civil matters, only criminal matters. So I believe that would
Okay.
have to go through.
Thank you. You've answered my question.
I do have a question on the calls for the ordinance violations.
Yes, sir.
Of those 29, are these calls that you just responded to, you give warnings on how many of those did
How
you?
many are citations and how many are warnings? So,
If you could break that down for us in the monthly report, that would really.
right, so you guys asked me for that last council meeting, which was halfway through the month already. So my officers have been instructed now. But of course, that is for this month coming in for next month, because that halfway through the month had already happened.
Okay.
So next month I'll have a breakdown of, what were they for? Was it for trash? Was it for junk vehicles? Whatever the case may be. I'll have that, because that's now indicated in their daily reports, but that will be for next month.
Another question along the lines, that's calls for service is 29. So that means
No,
there's
no.
29 times that they were called to go out there for,
No. These are 29 self-initiated
okay, so those are something, that's fine.
city ordinance violations, or
Okay.
calls, like if he calls in and I tell them, hey. you
So
need to
that's
go look at
any,
this property.
okay.
But it's just 29 city ordinance violation enforcement action taken.
Yes, sir, thank you.
So within, after the citation is issued, you did the warning and then you did the citation. You get no response from the citation. At some point, you need to notify the mayor that you've done those actions and then no response. That in turn would allow the city council to then take action either through abatement or, we go clean it up and we
keep
build
in
up.
mind, in this matter though, we haven't had court, right? So he has to be able to come and see, to have the opportunity to come and see the judge, but with Catherine being out, courtman being postponed, he still hasn't had the opportunity to come and stand before the judge to plead his case, right? But a citation has been issued on that matter.
And the citations go out registered, certified, How do they go out?
We mailed them. I'm
They're
not
just
sure if
mailed?
it was certified or not, but it was mailed, yes. Yeah, Officer Palomares mailed it out. So I do know that for a fact. I don't know. that it's
Citations don't
certified.
have to be
They don't have to
certified.
be
Master.
certified.
But as I say, they're two separate matters. Because if he goes to court, he pays a fine. The judge is not gonna say, and you have to fix it.
Well, that's where we have the disconnect. If he's got a citation and he comes to court for trash lot or whatever, I'm sure, the judge can find him and give him so many days to clean it up.
The judge just assesses the fine. for the
Just
citation.
assesses the fine.
Mhm. If they see the prosecutor, then I will give them an opportunity to clean up before working a plea deal with them, typically. If they don't, then it's just the fine, but otherwise, that's their opportunity in court to clean it up.
Address.
That the judge only has the limited authority to, this is what the citation, the violation is, this is what the fine assigned to that is, and
So does the disconnect begin there where now he's paid the fine, he's okay, but does the police follow up to go see, to issue another citation?
To issue another, yes, they can receive multiple citations, right, for the same offense. For example, the record,
Mhm.
we've issued that one more than one time. They can receive citations for the same offense. I'm just not gonna do it on a daily basis, right? He
Right,
needs to
right.
be able to come and see the judge, and if he doesn't comply, all I can do is issue citations, right? I
Right.
can't physically force them to clean the property. I can just issue citations. Now, filing a lien on the property, and so that becomes a civil matter. That's totally out of law enforcement.
But our ordinance does call for a daily fine. Would that be a deterrent? I mean, he could get
Obviously not.
one dated to go to court on one day, and then the next one, the next day dated to go to court another day. I mean, isn't that feasible? I mean,
It is, but-
he at some point is gonna get tired of getting fined.
And I understand that,
Mhm.
but and I sympathize with them. I've seen
Right.
the pictures.
Right.
I've driven by the property. It's horrible. I know
Right.
this, right? But if I issue a citation today, and from what I'm understanding from what you're saying, if I issue a citation today to show up to court on the 10th, and then I go out there tomorrow and issue another citation, I haven't given them ample
Anything.
time to correct the matter.
Yeah.
And who determines what the ample time is, right? It's what's a reasonable amount of time? It's not gonna be defined anywhere in any type of criminal code, right? So
Right.
we've kind of settled upon 10 days, right? As far as when it comes to city ordinance violations, that's kind of the norm. So I would not issue another citation for 10 days. I have to give them the opportunity to correct the matter.
But yet we keep putting that in our ordinance, that each day is a separate offense.
But he still gets the fine every day. The fine is assessed.
Not
He doesn't
according
get-
to him.
No, I wouldn't give them.
There's not a daily.
I mean,
fee
our
for each
ordinance
day
that-
that he doesn't.
Our
clean it up.
ordinance says that, but he's saying, I'm gonna give him 10 days.
But we've got to give an opportunity for them to correct the
Yeah.
matter.
But that's what I'm saying, we have it in our ordinance.
I get it.
We give them a copy of the ordinance. They're aware of it. So if they know it and they say, well, tomorrow I don't feel like cleaning it, even though I gotta go to court and I have to tell them, I wanna pay the fine and yes, I cleaned it. Then say you give them the 10 days, you issue another citation.
Well,
I mean-
10 days, but not on a daily
What-
basis, I would.
What are we doing to encourage them to clean it? Because they could say, well, it's cheaper than the dump, maybe I'll pay it and never have to go to court again.
Well, that's where I think the council can do.
We're
like
just getting-
another
But we're getting-
say,
Somehow.
take the
Yeah,
civil
maybe
matter
we need to
on-
have
But
a
let's-
conversation of this ordinance.
Let's reel it back in. We'll have to figure out which ordinance. We'll put it on the next agenda.
Yeah.
So that way we could really,
And I believe all our ordinances with a fine says that.
Yeah, sure.
but we can address that most definitely.
Mhm.
Because I think it should be,
And that's the frustration,
Yeah.
right?
is how do we give them an opportunity to fix it, but yet still make the point known.
Yeah, we thought that the fine would be a deterrent,
Yeah.
right? But
Not all the time. Guess people have more money than sense sometimes, right? So,
If I can say just one thing.
Sure.
I think it's reasonable to say, this is your warning, and I'm gonna cite you if you don't correct it in 10 days. I think that's all the warning. I think after that, it would be perfectly valid to say, and today's a new day, and you're gonna get another citation.
I mean, I think we have a case in point in the office today where that can't always hold true. Right? I mean, so I agree. I think that's a great way to go about it. But we have a situation,
Again, the ordinance specifically states, if we go through the abatement process, that once we abate it, if there is a second offense within 1 year, we don't have to say nothing. We just abate it and send them a bill.
Okay.
But, you know, I have empathy for people who have issues. Okay, we have some very low income families here. I have empathy for that. Raise your right hand. We have people like Miss Harvey that have physical disabilities. I have empathy for that. And we need to work with those people.
Sure.
But a absent property owner destroying property out here, I have no empathy for that individual, and I think we need to deal with it specifically and harshly. But that's a matter for another meeting.
Okay. Any other questions on the monthly report, specific to the monthly report?
Thank you, Chief.
No.
I noticed you had 5 runaway. Were they found?
All of them.
Okay, thank you. Great work.
All right. Moving right along, agenda item 10A, Parks and Rec. Updated announcements from Park Advisory Committee Chair Alderman Rapino with possible discussion and interaction. Sir, you have the floor.
Okay, we had a meeting on Wednesday. It was not well attended because of illness. But we did have a meeting and we discussed any problems that occurred during January, and those present said that there were no major problems, and that the things that we discussed that were problems within the community centers were taken care of. They've got new toilets, and the problems with the ceiling tiles were fixed. And so the next meeting will be on March the 4th. Anyone that would like to attend is welcome, and it's held in the community center at 5:30 p.m. And that's all I have.
9 a.m. That's for sure. Any questions? Anybody would like to join the meeting, please do so. You're more than welcome. It is a fun time, and then you'll usually have an event
Yeah,
afterwards. So
there's always an event after,
Yeah.
almost always, depending on the day that the meeting is held.
Yeah.
Yeah, during the week mostly, except for Mondays, I don't think they have anything.
Same Monday or Fridays.
they're not doing what was that game? Shigimi or Mini? What was the one?
On Fridays,
on-
they were doing Mexican
Friday
train during
mornings,
the
they
day.
have,
I
it's
saw some other
called the
word.
train now.
Oh, that's Wednesday, sir.
Oh, the little,
Yes, sir.
what is that
Right.
called?
Paragormy or
Yeah.
something. It's-
Not Shigimi.
No.
But they just started
Per
something
se,
called the
admitted.
train on
They got the Paragormy too.
Friday during the day.
The paper folding?
No.
Not origami.
Not Oregon.
It's called Yeah, there we go. It's a really weird
Yeah.
word.
But on
Culture.
Fridays now,
That's
they're
not
doing
what-
something
Oh, is it?
called the
Okay.
train. Please listen to me. I'm trying to
Mexican
make
train.
my report.
That's right.
And it's sort of an offshoot of Domino's.
And they started scheduling that also in the evening.
Yeah, well, off and on.
Awesome. It's getting very good. All right. Anything else? Any questions for our Park Advisory Committee Chair? All right. Moving right along, discuss and or possible action on amending the personnel policy. I will continue to postpone that one as I'm still working with ADP. Discuss enter possible action on ordinance 2025-248 establishing regulations for certificates of occupancy. All right, so this is, yeah. So I also attached a copy of an application from Universal City that I think we could just rob and kind of fine tune to our standards. There is a company that I did find online that can provide the calculations. I think that was one of your questions, Alderman Tremblay, about how to determine per square footage, per rules and regulations, how many people can fit in within a certain building. And so we could contract through them. There's multiple companies out there that can provide that service, but we would essentially go through Bear County, get the fire inspection, that we would turn that over to this third party company and say, okay, they met all these specific, or they've cleared these violations, or there are no violations now. Give them their certificate of occupancy, and then we just pay them to do it, and they pay us to cover the costs. That's kind of the easiest solution that I found, just kind of high level looking around at how we can provide this service to the businesses that are registered.
And the businesses will reimburse the city.
Yes.
They will pay for the.
Correct.
Yeah,
The certificate of occupancy.
certificate.
Yes, sir.
They're good annually, or do they need to be updated today?
I think if they were to increase their size or reduce their footprint, then they would need to have a new way. But otherwise, it would just be a one-time.
So it's going to be redone.
It can be redone. It can be redone to involve multiple quotes from different companies that would provide the certificate of occupancy services. I think the Universal City is probably well enough written in that it's $425 to provide the service that their building inspector goes out to do.
So what kind of, I'm a little confused as I read this and look at this.
Yep.
What buildings are required to have a certificate of occupancy? Businesses?
All the commercial businesses.
That's what this says, but that's not what this says.
That's not what. The
Our
ordinances?
ordinance,
What
our
is-
ordinance says all property buildings and no, not there. If you look in section
3A.
section 2. It says certificate of occupancies for the use of any non-residential or multifamily building. So non-residential, a chicken coop, a shed, a garage, these are all non-residential. So if we want to go with commercial, can we do any commercial or multifamily building instead of non-residential, or was your intent, Mayor, to make it non-residential where all these other buildings?
I don't want to do certificates of occupancies for chicken coops or dog houses, so.
Garages, building,
Right.
sheds, any of those.
Right.
Okay, well then, can I make a motion then to change the non-residential in section 2? Strike non-residential and insert
Commercial.
commercial.
How about striking multifamily building?
Like a duplex.
So that's,
That's what I think of as a multifamily. Is that what you're thinking?
yeah,
But you could,
but it is residential.
It is residential.
It's classified as residential, only multifamily. So it's
Right.
not a commercial business.
but you would consider an apartment building
An
a
apartment
commercial
building.
business. A commercial building, so,
But as far as how, they're not even allowed in our city, apartment buildings. But a multifamily, a duplex is a residential, is classified as residential. Not commercial.
so then that solves the
So
problem.
we should strike multifamily.
Well, it's not considered commercial, so what's the difference? Yeah, strike multi.
Mhm.
So was the intent to only do businesses, so,
Right.
yes, okay, then I'll modify my motion since no one seconded yet and strike, non-residential or multifamily and and insert commercial.
I would second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderwoman Madero and a second by Alderman Fillinger to strike non-residential and
Or,
or multifamily and insert commercial building.
Mhm.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, that motion carries.
Also in the third whereas paragraph, I would make a motion that we insert the word "the city" so that it now reads, whereas the city council finds the city has building codes. The third whereas paragraph at the top, sir.
Okay,
City phones has building codes. And you wanted to read
say that one more time.
The city council finds the city has
city.
building codes.
Right. City council finds the city.
Yep. Okay, got a motion by Alderwoman Madero. May I have a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Mayor Pro Tem Alvarado to insert the city after fines and before has.
Yes, sir.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, that motion carries.
Now we have to approve the ordinance.
If there is no other
There's more
discussion.
discussion. Section 3,
Mhm.
paragraph A, general. No vacant land shall be occupied or used except for agricultural use. No building hereafter erected or structurally altered shall be occupied or used, and no change of use of a building or structure from its prior use shall be used until a certificate of occupancy is issued by a building official, the city administrator, or designate. Again, we need to specify commercial type enterprises rather than
Any building.
because what this is every building. Again, you want a house, you want a mobile home, you want a chicken coop, a dog house,
Can we make
utility
a,
building.
can we make a general statement somewhere at the beginning that says any reference to a building covered by this ordinance is, means commercial, or I don't know, the lawyer would know how to word that better.
Like a legend.
We don't have a lawyer, we have an attorney.
I'm sorry, an attorney.
We can include a definition if that's,
Would that be the better way instead of making sure every time we use building, we say commercial?
it would probably be, I mean, I think it'd probably be easier to just include commercial before building.
Okay.
Can we make a general motion that before building, we can insert commercial, and then that'll give you the
Throughout
authority
the
to go and change it, yeah.
Okay, so in paragraph, okay. Throughout the ordinance in general, I would like to insert commercial before any use of the word building or structure.
I second that motion.
Thank you. You have a motion and a second, sir.
I'm writing as fast as I can.
No, right now.
Yeah, seriously. So I have a motion by Alderman Fillinger and a second by Alderwoman Madero, right? Okay. To insert the word commercial before building or structure. That read correctly, sir?
That is correct, sir.
All right, I have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, that motion carries.
So I have another question in terms of paragraph B. I'm a little confused on how the building official, the city administrator, or the designee is going to know to order that the building or structure be inspected.
So that would be the
Right now.
property owner, right, or business owner would come into the city apply for the permit. And then at that point, then I conduct.
At that point, they would be ordered. So after they have the application and submitted. So, okay.
So then I would contact the fire marshal. Fire marshal does their inspection.
No, I just wanted to know where,
Oh,
at what
the
point. So when
process.
they turn in the application,
Yep.
we're gonna assume every commercial business in this town is gonna come and give you an application. At that point, it'll be evaluated by the proper person in order to order them. All right, thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Just looking to understand the process here.
Yep.
Yes. And paragraph C, we mentioned a building permit number. Is that something issued from the city? Is that going to be something we'll be tracking here then? When they send in, again, processing, when they turn in the application, we'll have a place like the fence ordinance application that I sent up in the corner for them to put a permit number.
Yep.
All right, thank you, sir. Sir, I'm not hearing any other comments, therefore. I would like to make the motion that we approve ordinance number 2025-248, an ordinance of the city council of the city of Sandy Oaks, Texas, establishing certificate of occupancy with additional discussion, with us getting an application approved as, written as well, sir.
As amended,
As
As amended, yes, sir. And then also, for this ordinance to also require an application, by the time we get to the second readings.
I'll second.
So I have a
So
motion.
the motion is to approve,
The
For a second
ordinance
reading.
and
Yep.
not
For
to
the
approve the motion, or not to approve the ordinance
to approve the ordinance, yeah,
for second reading.
Adopt the, approve the ordinance for a second reading
approve
as
it,
amended.
approve the ordinance as amended. And ensure we get an application to go with the ordinance at the second reading. I don't like having ordinances without application.
I would second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Alderwoman Madero and a second by Alderman Fillinger to approve ordinance 2025-248 as amended on the condition that there is a matching application for the next meeting. Not fair?
For the second reading.
For the second reading?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. All right, that motion carries. Moving along to agenda item C. Discuss under possible action on ordinance number 2025-250, amending ordinance 2019-150, regulating commercial motor vehicles. Alderman Tremblay, or excuse me, Mayor Pro Tem Alvarado and Alderman Tremblay, you do have the floor.
The attorney did forward this to us and we went over it and we concurred that unless anyone has any questions.
Pardon me,
Mhm.
I can't hear you down there, Matthew.
Oh, I'm sorry. The attorney did forward this to us through email. We went over it and we concurred that it was correct unless anyone has any discussion or concerns or corrections or anything like that.
I have a couple of questions. In the red line version, there's a comment that we need to get exhibit A. That may be found with ordinance 2019-133. However, I think 2019-133 was replaced by 2019-150. Has anyone done any look to see if we have that exhibit A to make sure we have it to attach to this ordinance?
I think I looked at 2019-150 and it wasn't there, but it was with 133,
So it has, okay, so they didn't. put
at
it
least
in
on the website.
Okay, but do we know if we made any changes with it as part of the one that changed to 150?
We
Okay.
did not
So look at this.
250. We did not make any changes to the attachment.
We didn't make any changes to Exhibit A, so we can pull it from 133 without any issues then.
Yes.
Yeah, that was way before my time, so I don't know. All right, just so we know that we have it somewhere, that's good. And then, I know this is a modification and update to an existing, so I just wanted to confirm, do we have this permit application available? Should someone walk into City Hall for
I
it?
believe so. Last I talked to the secretary, she says it does exist.
Yes.
It does exist, perfect. Just trying to follow up, make sure we have permits with everything we're passing. Those are my only two questions, thank you.
And to confirm, 2019-133 does have, it's not labeled Exhibit A, but it is Exhibit A. Which has the listing of street names.
Oh, the brown.
Perfect,
Yeah.
Red brown, yeah.
okay.
So it's there.
True.
Yeah.
So it's included
So
in
then
the ordinance. It's included.
Yep.
Really doesn't need to be.
Listed as Exhibit A. Gotcha. Okay.
And so that'll be attached to this one as Exhibit A as well, yes.
Correct.
Sure. Yes.
Roads which include roads and streets identified in on Exhibit A
Yep.
here attached here to it.
Any questions or can we get a motion?
I move that we approve ordinance number 2025-250 and ordinance City of Sandy Oaks amending ordinance number 2019-150. Prohibiting parking of commercial motor vehicles upon private property, providing for idling restrictions, creating offenses and providing penalties for violation, providing for publication and providing for an effective date.
I'll second.
Okay, so I got a motion by Alderman Tremblay and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Alvarado. Approving ordinance number 2025-250, amending ordinance 2019-150, the regulating of commercial motor vehicles.
And this would serve as a second reading. I believe we discussed last meeting that the first reading was when we did the amendment. So this would suffice as the
But it
official
wasn't
second
posted to the
reading.
website.
It needs to be posted now. It needs to be posted after the
They're
second.
supposed to
reading.
be posted after the first reading, sir.
Well, that, I don't know that she did that, so.
She did not.
Okay,
So
so
can
we can waive the second reading.
I was gonna say, can we waive the
Let's waive it.
second?
Okay.
So, okay,
So the motion stands.
so the motion stands. Do we need a
Or
motion
you
to
need a
waive,
motion to waive.
to waive the second reading? So,
After we do the first.
yeah,
reading.
so I got motion by Alderman Tremblay and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Alvarado. To approve ordinance number 2025-250, an ordinance of the city of Sandy Oaks, amending ordinance number 2019-150, prohibiting parking of commercial motor vehicles upon private property, providing for idling restrictions, creating offenses and providing penalties, and for violation, providing for publication, and providing for an effective date. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Sir, can you pass that motion, the next one? To waive the second reading?
Move that we, excuse me, that we, let
Wait.
me give away the second reading.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I second.
All right, so I have a motion by Alderman Tremblay and a second by Alderman Rapino to waive the second reading. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed. Right, that motion carries. Moving along. Okay. Discuss under possible action on ordinance number 2025-251, amending ordinance number 2024-236, establishing animal control regulations. Alderwoman Madero and Mayor Pro Tem Alvarado, you do have the floor.
So Ashley has spoken with both Mayor Pro Tem and myself on separate occasions about needing or desiring to have various things updated in this animal control ordinance. So we've taken a look at it. One of the things she wanted was the goats. And we may come back and revisit that at a later date, but we didn't want to put that in here at this time. But instead, what we wanted to focus on, and there's also some other minor edits made, but We wanted to clarify the dangerous dog, because actually, as she's commented to this council in the past, the ordinance can be a little discerning. We had hoped to be able to ban dangerous dogs altogether from being in the city. However, the city attorney has confirmed that we cannot do that, and we must allow dangerous dogs. So we just wanted to clean that up and make it very clear what the requirements are for a dangerous dog. There's also requirements about picking up or calling animal control to help in picking up dead animals on your personal property. And there's specifications on what kinds of dead animals, anything like that. So we did request that that be removed. So you'll notice in the red line version that that action has been removed. The animal control will still be required to pick up the dead animals from public property, but not from a private residence. If it's on your private residence, you're responsible to take care of the dead animal yourself. Other changes that have been done throughout the document is we replaced the spayed and neutered with a sterilized, and that was defined within the ordinance as per chapter 828 of the Texas Code. We also put in to remove the fee chart from the very end, because again, this requires us to keep this updated as well as the master fee chart. And since we do have that master fee schedule, we just decided to propose that we remove it from here. We also throughout the document added the word master in front of fee schedule, because fee schedule in the ordinance originally just referred to this fee schedule at the end. So now it's referring to the master fee schedule where all the fees are included for the entire city. There's other small edits that you'll notice that the city attorney did to help clean up some of that. But one thing that's also in here that I wanted to bring as a point of conversation, in paragraph 5C2, there was a mention about registering your microchipped dog or cat with the registration company, but then to register it with the city as well. When I questioned how were they supposed to do that, paragraph page 9, paragraph C2 of the red line version, instead of registering with the city of Sandy Oaks, that's been replaced with provide a copy to the city secretary. However, I don't know, is there a reason? I wasn't around when this original document was written. Was there a reason why we need them to register with the city? Was there any strong opinions with that? If they're registered on the site, animal control picks them up and scans them. There's no real need to register with the city, and I wanted to make that a point of discussion.
I think I saw on Nextdoor or somewhere that a microchip company went out of business.
That was on the news today.
Yeah, so that information is lost. But obviously there should be information still on the reader when they scan it, or
And that's the only way you're gonna be able to
Right.
verify if your dog is chipped there. If they pick up the dog, they're gonna have to scan it. And at that time, at that point, then they can give the owner a proof of
The way,
chipping.
Is that
the
the
way
only
most of
company?
those companies operate,
Oh, okay.
okay? Way
Other
most of
companies
those
may be
companies
able to read
operate,
it too.
they don't tell you the registered owner is your next door neighbor. They contact the owner and say, here's where you can find your dog.
But we don't have that now.
we have a scanner.
I mean, we don't have the agency. You're saying the agency?
Oh, yeah, so in
contact-
this case, right, the agency's done, so we can't, right, so to answer your question.
Like I say, most of the agencies, when
The
you say,
microchip companies.
yeah, when you say, I have this animal, and you get a number from the scan. They said, thank you, we'll contact the owners. What is your information?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
some of them are that way. Some of them you just go type it
Okay.
into Google, but
So-
that's not my question. Do we
But-
want the city to maintain that information as well?
We want to know who that dog belongs to.
Cause then we can contact the owner.
Because if you pick up a dog in the street. And they say, oh no, I sold that dog, or I gave that dog to Bill Blow. I don't know why he's on the street.
Okay,
Well,
that's
if
fine.
they
So that's
have-
my
if
question. Do
they
we want
have
the,
not Made that registration at the city, it's still your dog.
so you still want the owner to register the dog, get the dog microchipped, dog or cat microchipped, register it with the company, and then come up to City Hall and give the city secretary a copy of the document saying, this is the microchip in my dog.
Yep.
Okay, so then we'll leave it as is. That's what I just wanted to know.
We-
Did we want to
really-
do that?
We really don't know.
Or we can scan it.
We don't know how many dogs or what dogs that company microchipped. I got my dog from, animal control in San Antonio. Microchipped. I'm
You-
sure
you
that
don't-
company
you-
didn't.
You don't need to convince me.
That's
I
what I'm
just
saying.
wanted,
I
I
would-
just wanted the question answered. Do we want the city secretary to take on the role of receiving this information? For every,
I don't think the city secretary, I think it should be animal control.
animal
Yeah,
control,
animal control.
all
I
right,
mean, it's just a record of if the dog
Yeah.
is chipped, we know who it belongs to, and that
okay,
can be done
so
by
then-
animal control. The city secretary really doesn't need to be involved.
okay, then section,
Right.
section B, paragraph 3.
Paragraph 2,
No, hold on, where am I at?
5.2.
B,
Page 9.
C, excuse me, yes, I'm sorry, you are correct.
Five.
Section 5, paragraph C, 2.
C2.
Replace the strike city secretary, I move to strike city secretary and insert animal control office.
Yes.
Okay, so I got a motion by Alderwoman Madero and a second by
Sounds second.
Mayor Pro Tem Alvarado to strike city secretary of the city of Sandy Oaks or city secretary and insert animal control. Page 9. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Alright,
All those opposed, all right, motion carries.
Okay, also in Tool A, as we discussed previously, there's, when we were discussing the master fee schedule, there's no ability to quarantine animals within the city, so we requested that be removed, so you'll notice that has been removed and that the animal will be quarantined when required at an appropriate veterinarian facility. Or if the right conditions are met, can be quarantined at home. And in various places, it also says local rabies control authority has been inserted to replace animal control officer. And that's because the local rabies control authority within this document is defined as either the police or animal control officer. So, that's been covered in there as well.
24.
Did y'all strike rooster? Are we allowing roosters?
No,
No, that's not, it's just clarifying the definition is what,
no, it
Okay.
says no rooster.
All right,
Yeah.
because it says keeping them more than 10 in combination of fowl
And no
other than a
more than-
rooster.
yeah.
But it still says in here, you cannot have roosters,
It
right?
still says you can't have a rooster, it's just unnecessarily in there when it's defining.
Okay.
It was unnecessary. Why she struck it. She did a lot of small edits through there.
Yeah.
As she was reviewing the entire document to take care of these things. And then also in section 14, paragraph C1.
Can you give page numbers as you go?
And I'm trying to find the page number now.
27?
Yep, 27, 14, C1,
Oh, sorry, it's 28.
28.
So 20.
Yep, 28.
So this has been. We were back and forth a little bit on this because of some of the Texas code, but the requirement now for the release of an animal is for the owner, when taking control of the animal, to sign an agreement that they will have that animal that's not sterilized within a specified number of days, and will provide, and then the other stuff is in here.
Yeah, prior to release.
Prior to release, they're gonna sign this agreement that they will sterilize their dog or cat within a specified amount of time. Because again, she's getting repeat offenders.
and are they still going to document that, just the animal control officer?
The animal control officer, before releasing the animal, will have the owner sign a document, and then within, the owner must return to City Hall within 5 days with proof of rabies vaccination, if that's what was missing. Or within 14 days to prove the dog has been sterilized, if that's what was missing. So that's the requirement now, just to try and make sure that we're trying to enforce that, but as we know, they still might not be when they're or pick back up. And then another point of clarification that we were uncertain of, and it's being removed from this fee schedule, but it would have something to do with the master fee schedule that we were looking at, is what is the owner surrender destruction versus destruction? I'm not understanding, why is there a fee associated with destruction other than when an owner surrenders it? Because if someone is if we're destroying a dog that wasn't surrendered by an owner, who's paying for it?
Like a dangerous animal, vicious animal, somebody doesn't claim the animal, it has to be destroyed. It's
Yeah, but
city-
who's paying for it? Why do we
Then
have
the
a
city
fee
would
for it?
have to, if we picked up the animal and we
Right.
can't. we
That's why I'm
can't
wondering who-
determine
Oh, I
who
see
the
what you're
owner
saying.
is,
But why is it on the fee schedule?
Yeah.
so it's,
Should it be,
Both.
right? Because there's nobody's paying for it.
right. What page are you on?
Yeah,
This is the very end. This is at the table that we're marking out and removing.
yeah, in our discussion, we said, well, let's just have them, because other aldermen that have been here prior to us would know why they created this.
I think I know why.
Mhm.
Uh. If we impound a dog. That's not an owner surrender. If somebody comes in here and says, and occasionally it happens, I don't want this dog, he needs to be put down.
Is it not, Cassandra, is that considered an owner surrender? They lose their, if we go and impound their dog, that's not considered an owner surrender.
Unless
No,
it's,
this is what we
unless
get.
it's an impound that no one claims and we destroy
Right,
it, but
okay, so
nobody's.
that destruction then
Yeah.
refers to. Cassandra sees some, I mean, Cassandra actually out in the street and sees some dog that's being neglected and they grab it and impound it. And then have to go and decide that later this dog is too ill and needs to be put down. At that point, they would go back and fine the owner at that point, the $300.
For the
Because
destruction.
that wouldn't be owner surrender is the example that Charles has printed. That makes sense then.
Mhm.
All right, that's why we
That's why
figured
we
we'd
do
come
it that
ask,
way.
because the two of us can figure it out, and we even asked the city attorney, and it's like, who knows?
Yeah,
Rationale.
and obviously there was a reason for it because it was in here. so-
Right, but it doesn't make sense that the owner surrender destruction, so someone that's being evicted can no longer take their dog with them, why would they have to pay more for a destruction versus someone that was abusing their dog and then we impounded it and then determined later we needed to
Well,
destroy it?
if we know the owner, they chose not to get their dog back, they still are cited for the original violation. So they are going to be fined for that.
Oh, so they get multiple
Yeah.
other fines.
And if we know the owner, they get to pay daily impound fees.
It just adds up, okay.
And if we have any veterinarian care given before the decision is made to destroy it, they become liable for those veterinarian fees also.
That makes sense.
But
No, that makes sense. It just,
It's
it's
more
again,
uncomfortable
just a question because
Yeah,
when looking at it, Mayor Pro Tem
Yeah.
and I didn't understand. So, all right,
Uh,
that's my explanation of the changes that we've done. Mayor Pro Tem, I don't know if I've missed anything that you wanted to add before we see if other
no, we
folks
spoke
have other
about it and
questions.
you covered everything. Do you want to make a motion?
Want to see if anybody else had another question before we did that.
But don't we need a motion before we can make discussion?
Oh, you have a valid point, sir. You're right. Robert's Rules of Order. I move to approve ordinance number 2025-251, an ordinance of the city of Sandy Oaks amending ordinance number 2024-236, establishing animal control regulations, providing a severability clause, providing for a penalty for the violation hereof, providing for an effective date, and providing for publication.
second,
As
As amended.
Everybody seconded it this time.
No, we'll be in-
Multiple seconds.
Right, okay, hold on. Let me write that all down. And I heard Rapino, Alderman Rapino.
That's what it
first.
says up here.
Yeah. I know. All right, so I have a motion by Alderwoman Madero and a second by Alderman Rapino to approve ordinance number 2025-251, amending ordinance number 2024-236, establishing animal control regulations as amended. All those in favor, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right.
All those opposed. All right, moving right along. Agenda item 12B. Discuss or possible action on appointing an interim municipal court clerk or deputy court clerk. So for this one, many of you are aware, our court clerk is not able to be in office these days due to some health issues. And so in the interim, while she works on recovering, we do need a court clerk to come and fill in that position and help things kind of move along. And so my recommendation at this time is to appoint our city secretary as interim court clerk, so that way we are within scope of our legal powers, I guess is the way to phrase that. But she has already taken on some of the administrative tasks of the court clerk. She doesn't know what to do as a court clerk, but she knows how to take payments, and that's right now one of the most important parts that we have, is that we're able to help our citizens that are trying to pay their fines. So that is my recommendation, that we appoint our city secretary, Delma Doyle, who has agreed to take on the position if you so appoint her to.
Okay, and I'm not arguing, because I agree that we do need to do this, but do we need to have, and this is for you, the city attorney, do we need to have the position of interim court clerk, municipal clerk, or a deputy court clerk? Because I don't think we have those officials have been defined by city ordinance.
Not necessarily, and we don't have to have necessarily the interim defined. Municipal court clerk is defined in the municipal court ordinance. And there's an option for a deputy court clerk as well. Going to the agenda item 12C, there's an option for a deputy city clerk. So council has some options of whether it wants to appoint a deputy court clerk in lieu of an interim municipal court clerk while Catherine is out, or have an interim municipal court clerk and not a deputy court clerk.
Do we have an interim until we can find a deputy?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's.
We're
And
gonna find a deputy?
the city secretary in our type of municipal court can act as the court clerk as well. And if that city secretary takes both roles, then the city secretary has authority to appoint a deputy clerk.
So you're saying we don't have to appoint her, she can just take that on as the city secretary?
No, that you would have to designate her,
yeah.
but I was mentioning, she does have the authority, or you
Once
have
we
the authority to
appoint
give the city secretary both roles.
We don't have to, she doesn't have to bring the employee, bring the individual to us for approval like the police chief does with his.
Not
Police
under
officers.
the statute, and I don't think under the ordinance either.
Well, I
under the
think that's
ordinance
gonna be
shows authority
discussed in
to-
C, correct?
Yes, I was just mentioning that as that role being defined.
She can appoint a deputy and meet her budget without city council approval. So that,
If she's in both roles.
no, I just want to make sure that if we say we're appointing her to this, that we have
The authority or whatever.
the legal definition of what we're appointing. So,
Do we need to appoint her as interim to allow her to continue just the administrative duties? Because my concern is her ability to perform both roles, given that she's a little overwhelmed with just the city secretary responsibilities.
If I may, I believe that's gonna be addressed in
that's
C.
the next agenda item.
We're trying to just put her there first and then discuss the rest, and that'll clear up the process.
Okay, I don't understand the difference between the two. Can you explain there?
Oh,
Yep,
minutes.
so we discussed 12C. Basically, I want to put a position out there to start bringing in applicants for a
Yeah.
deputy city clerk. For on filling position for a deputy city clerk or deputy, well, yeah.
So
it
you're making,
just says-
so you're trying to talk about 12C. You want to know about advertising.
Right, because I gotta.
Oh, I thought we were on B.
We are, but what I'm
We're on
saying
B.
is I need to appoint her as interim municipal city clerk, so then I can then put out a position for deputy city clerk.
I think where she's getting confused is because you added or.
Yeah.
deputy clerk.
So you're taking Delma and you're going to have her as interim court clerk
Mhm.
in order to pick up the slack on the position that she currently holds, the city secretary. Well, then she needs a city clerk, not a court clerk, a deputy city clerk to pick up the administrative functions for the city, not the court. Two separate job descriptions, two separate functions.
Right, okay, so
So-
B says an interim municipal court clerk or a deputy court clerk. So,
I believe
We
that's,
will, we
that's
would appoint her as the interim.
or go hire a deputy.
right.
So again, that
Yeah,
doesn't,
yeah, it might have been just an
Yeah.
incorrect usage of verbiage.
Yeah,
But basically, we need to find somebody to fill that position
Right.
on the, in the time that she's gonna be. gone.
Okay.
So what are we looking for? The court clerk? Or
I mean, we need one or the other.
What do you vote?
let's just call
No,
it.
B,
Let it stay
Oh.
the
and an
same.
interim
Add the floor,
municipal
please.
clerk or a deputy court clerk. I
Order in
agree.
the court,
order,
sir, you have the floor.
Yes, it is my belief that we should appoint, current city secretary, Delma Doyle, as the interim municipal court clerk,
Period.
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 Mhm.
Was that a motion?
That,
That is his motion.
that is a motion.
I'll second that motion.
All right, so the motion is to appoint Delma Doyle as the interim municipal court clerk. We have a motion by Alderman Fillinger and a second by Alderman Tremblay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right?
Vote. All those opposed?
No,
Okay. Motion is 4-1, that carries. All right, moving along. Agenda item C, discuss or possible action on filling a position of deputy city clerk and advertising for deputy city clerk position. And as it says, I need to hire a position for this, or some backup. And I'm just looking for authorization to go ahead and post it on TML or Nextdoor or what have you.
I move we authorize the mayor to advertise to fill a position for a deputy city clerk.
I'll second.
Okay, I got a motion by Alderman Tremblay and a second by Alderman Rapino to authorize the mayor to advertise for the position of deputy city clerk. All those in favor say aye.
Right?
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries. All right, agenda item 12D. On this item, I was talking to the precinct 1 Commissioner Rebecca Clay Flores about basically we're talking about her health and how she's not doing well, but on the men's, she participates in this Five Diamonds baseball parade. It'll be on March 1st. She did ask that we go out there and support, and in doing so, she would like us to be involved in the parade. It is for baseball teams. So I am a baseball coach. And so I'm really asking, so that way I can support our precinct 1 commissioner, is to allow our chief and our lieutenant to drive 2 vehicles, and I will pay for the fuel to be in the parade. And if I could use the trailer to line it with hay bales and have the baseball team sit in it. So we're just basically participating in the parade.
Where is this held?
Right there on South Flores.
Just to be clear, attorney, would there be any liability that we need to think of or anything like that?
As long as you find some public purpose for it, those
They're
are
covered.
okay. But I mean, liability, that's always kind of a very open question
Right,
as far
because
as everything. but
he's gonna have children on the trailer.
Well, they're insured, or city's insured. We've had probably some sort of agreement or waiver that we've had people sign in the past for participation in city events.
Mhm. As the coach, would he have to have that waiver signed by the parents of the
It would
children?
be the parents.
Do we have a waiver
We have other forms of waivers, not,
for this?
yeah, we could drop one
Okay.
for that more specifically.
If you could forward me one so I can pass it out. I can have them on hand.
Mhm.
But it is a parade, so it is 2 or 3 miles an hour, so.
No, and I just thought of it because you know how when we used to go on field trips, we
Yeah.
had to have our parents sign a waiver.
And a bunch of boys on a trailer.
Mhm.
I've done it 2 years ago. And so even if we didn't do the trailer, I think I have a way to get one. I usually Blue Star lends me one, or they have in the past. So y'all felt that was not something you are comfortable with, I have a backup option.
Well, I mean, it's not that we're not comfortable,
No,
we
no.
just want to take the right procedure to
Yeah.
do it.
No, I get it from a risk perspective. Yeah,
As long as all the children sign the waiver.
Yeah,
well, children.
I
can
mean,
sign
the
it.
children's
Parents,
parents.
yeah.
sign the
That's
waiver.
twice today.
yeah, but if you do get a trailer, then you're asking about the police
Police.
officer's time?
Yeah, and they've already agreed to do it.
Okay, so it's not on our,
No,
Salary.
it's not-
Okay.
yeah,
okay.
it's just the vehicle specifically, right? I'll pay for the fuel.
Mhm.
And
to
you'll
go
pull the trailer with your POV?
with my truck, yes.
Mhm. And so the officers are covered in their vehicles, so. I don't see,
And precinct what is a part of we're a part of precinct 1. So there is some purpose there.
We're supporting our commission. Will we be transporting anything to advertise that she's supporting, that we're supporting in her name?
Not necessarily. I don't think we have any,
I mean, what does she
Posters.
usually do when she's supporting? Is she asking?
would she
me-
say sponsors?
yeah,
Yeah.
City of San Diego coach of baseball team so-and-so?
I don't have any signage to do that.
I just don't know if she has a
She
banner
has
with her
something.
name or something.
Yeah, I'm
and
pretty
that
sure she
would
has one
want-
of her,
Yeah, that she would be asking for you to put on the trailer.
probably.
Oh, I see.
I can
I'm
ask
just
her.
saying because, as our city attorney said, if there was an intent and if we are supporting her, that's demonstrated by taking her banner on our trailer.
I can ask her for one of her campaign
Yeah.
banners.
Well, then are we?
But then you're advertising for her.
Yeah,
Or maybe not
Are we
even
then
advertising.
Yeah,
Identification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll ask her to stand on it.
I think the municipal purpose would be interagency cooperation, local government affairs.
Perfect.
And also, so the way Little League works is it is jurisdiction. So Sandy Oaks, which is why my son can play there, is a part of the Five Diamonds Little League district, yeah.
Uh.
So he couldn't go play in Floresville or Northside Little League because he's a part of this area's Little League.
So it all ties together.
Yep.
Okay. I don't have any more discussion. I think.
Okay, I move that we approve the city participation in the Five Diamond Baseball Parade.
I'll second.
Right. I have a motion by Alderman Fillinger and a second by Alderman Rapino to approve the participation in the Five Diamonds Baseball Parade. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those
Move
opposed.
agenda item 13.
Adjourn.
The motion is to adjourn. It is seconded. We are adjourned at 8:08 PM.